Oh, good afternoon, everybody. It's your friend Cheap Ludes. Well, I suppose 6 p.m. isn't necessarily afternoon. I mean, depending if you're operating on like degenerate hours. If you're operating on like degenerate hours, I think like 6 p.m. is technically speaking like afternoon. Like 6 p.m. for a degen is probably around 1 or 2 p.m. for like a normal person, but completely besides the point. I'm not going to sit here and define what a degen is. If you are one, you know. If you're not, you're probably not one, or you're an oblivious one. Interdimensional packs are here in my team. Sure, interdimensional, that's fine, whatever. At this point, it's like the names that they use for these sets are just complete gobbledygook, just completely made up, which is fine, but I just wish they kind of had a little bit more tie to basketball. I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard of any basketball player being described as interdimensional before, but alas. We got a pretty big set tomorrow, and just looking at it, you can already kind of see there's going to be a few cards that are going to be just a little bit more expensive than the other ones. So we got Pink Diamond Bonga. Okay. I mean, typically we get like an Amethyst Bonga or like a Diamond Bonga at this point, but sure, whatever. I forgot we're not getting any Amethyst and any Diamonds and stuff, so cool, whatever. Grant Williams is in the mix. Two different George Murasans, which I'll touch on a little later when I talk about each individual card and what they could be like, but I think it is pretty safe to assume that the difference in George Murasans will be either speed or shooting. Like, Hero George Murasan is either going to be a little bit faster or is going to be able to shoot. I'm not sure what the difference is, but just know the standard interdimensional one is going to be significantly worse than this Hero one. Just like Sabonis, just like a bunch of cards we've already seen. Marc Gasol's in the mix. Cool. I guess. Super cool. I'm kind of sick of using him. I think I used him for too many games in general when I used his Pink Diamond. Untradeable, of course. Then we got Lamar Odom. Cool. We also got Shane Battier, I guess. Christian Braun. I have no idea who that is. Honestly, I don't know. Jalen Suggs. Then we got Mike Miller out here, Kevin Porter Jr., and then let's talk Dark Matters. We got two Tim Thomases, two Bol Bols, and a Luka. Okay. All right, let's just get started here. We got Bonga, so we don't actually have a Bonga yet in my team. Now, people have speculated. The reason I say speculated is because people are arguing back and forth on the timeline. People are saying that Bonga base is like set shot 25. Sure, I guess, but regardless, he's 6'8", 7-foot wingspan point guard. He looks bigger than 6'8", too. He's usually got pretty good defensive tendencies and stuff, so his issue is usually shooting, which I have to assume is probably going to be the same. We're looking at the 22 power within version. His jump shot's kind of hard to nail down because, like, he had a big man release last year. Let's go back to 21. I don't even remember what release he had. So let's do the retro one because the retro one will be more fit to form. Set shot 14 again. So he's basically got like the same release as like Bob Pettit every year. Does that make sense? Let's see. Did he have it this time too? Yeah, set shot 14. So, okay. Interesting. So basically we're looking at like a Bob Pettit type situation. What's Bob Pettit's release this year? Because that's probably what Bonga is going to have if he doesn't have his own. Drew Eubanks release. Okay. Interesting. Regardless, Bonga should be fantastic. I mean, he's going to be a really solid budget point guard. It's just like we've got Luke Walton, we've got Joe Ingles. Shout out to Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles is kind of fire. I'm not going to lie. Also, like, he looks so unathletic. He should not be moving like that. So it's just funny to use him, but we have a bunch of 6'8" point guards at this stage that are like affordable. So I'm not really sure how good Bonga actually is going to be, but I guess we'll find out. So then we got Grant Williams. It just looks uncomfortable in this picture they chose. 6'6" small forward. I mean, whatever. He's got his own base. I'm sure it'll be pretty solid on like, what, quick or very quick, whatever they give him. I'm sure he's going to be solid, but a 6'6" small forward at this point. It's like when we got Jay Crowder. You know, it's like I don't think anyone cares. Like, everyone loved Grant Williams because of how good the gold was, not necessarily Grant Williams in general. So I don't think he's really going to be too exciting. Murasan, though. 7'7", 7'11" wingspan. I believe he is the biggest player in the game. He's going to be slow. He's got Chauncey Billups base. Oh, Jesus Christ. With Sviatslav Mihalik upper. Cool. I think there's no way I said that right. I would hope he has a 99 block, 99 contest. Yeah, he's going to be cracked, though. He will, regardless of the speed situation and the shooting situation. I think he's going to be slow regardless, and I'll talk about why. If you saw the news on who the lock-ins were for the hero set, you'll know why he's probably going to be slow, right? So I think regardless, he's probably sitting somewhere between like 50, somewhere around 50 speed, I would guess. But I think the difference between the hero version and the regular version is going to be the ability to shoot, right? And shooting badges specifically. Mirasan is going to be broken. I'm straight up not looking forward to this dude coming into the game. He's going to be expensive too. It's like even the regular one is probably going to be relatively expensive. Like he's going to be significantly worse. Like don't get me wrong. This thing is going to be like taco prices. Like even at 50 speed, I mean he's 7'7", dog, with a 7'11" wingspan. I run into this amethyst one still sometimes. It's like, bro, not cool. Marc Gasol, honestly, I'm just kind of burnt out on Marc Gasol. The only thing they could really do to him is give him the ability to dribble, which is what's going to happen. His release is, I don't know, hard for me to rate his release. I know a lot of people hate it, but I used this card for so long that I think I just like became accustomed to it. So shout out to Marc Gasol, I guess. That's cool. Now let's talk about some other cards. We got Lamar Odom. I would assume they change his jump shot. I'll talk about that in a second, but I would say there's high likelihood they change it again for the third time. Then we got Shane Battier. Do we have a Shane Battier? We do. Oh yeah, I forgot about this pink diamond Battier. No one cared about this card. Christian Braun, dude. Who is this? This is an elite level white guy name, though, I must say. Christian Braun. Like, he sounds like a leading man. You know what I mean? Like, if they pegged someone to play Adam Warlock and their name was like Christian Braun, would you be surprised? I wouldn't. Let's start with Suggs. 6'5". He's 6'5" now? Okay, I think he was like 6'3" last year. Maybe I'm wrong. He just looks smaller. Got his own release. I don't really think anyone's going to be probably too stoked about Jalen Suggs. He does have a 99 pass intercept tendency, which is cool, I guess. But, I mean, he'll be okay. If you're a Magic's fan or like a Suggs fan in general, I'm sure you're going to be stoked about this, but I think for the most part, most people probably aren't going to care about Suggs. He'll be one of the troll cards. Like if I had to guess what the troll pink diamonds are, and when I say troll pink diamonds, I mean the ones that are coming out of packs the most. Like the rarest one will be Mirasan. Second rarest will be Bonga. If you're looking for like an analog for that, Mirasan's like Taco in out of position 1, and Bonga's going to be like Luke Walton, you know, from like a drop rate perspective. Majority of pink diamonds are going to be Grant Williams, Christian Braun, and Jalen Suggs. I would say Jalen Suggs probably the most likely to be dropped like all the time. Christian Braun, 6'6", 6'9" wingspan. He's got his own release. I've never used it, so I couldn't tell you if he's really going to be any good. I'm not sure what's going to be going on with Christian Braun here. He looks intense, though. I'm not going to say what he looks like, but, like, look at him and then look at the last name, and I think you can get an idea of what I'm trying to say. You know, I'm just saying the Inglorious Bastards probably wouldn't have been too hyped to see him for sure. But, I don't know, he'll be okay. Battier, 6'8", 6'10" wingspan shooting guard. He could sneakily be really good. He'll be super cheap, too. I don't know if he'll stay with the Isaiah Roby release, but it's actually not a bad release. I use Season 3 George Gervin pretty often, so a release I'm actually kind of comfortable with. The Kennard Upper I think is good, too. Shout out to all my Sam Decker users out there. And honestly, his defensive tendencies are elite. Yeah, Battier might be good, too. He'll be able to dribble. Like, I mean, I'm actually a little more excited for Shane Battier than I would have thought. He might be cracked, like, straight up. Like, Battier might be fire, man. He might be fire. He might be, like, the budget 3-and-D shooting guard. That wingspan's huge, too, man. Battier, does he play shooting guard? He does, right? Oh, yeah. No, Battier might be fire. Then we got Lamar Odom. Like I said, I highly, I wouldn't say suggest. I would say I'm very positive they're going to change his release again. I don't think there's any way they give him Ousmane Dieng release. Honestly, don't know why they changed it in the first place, because Seti Osman release is fire. I don't understand why they did that. I use Darius Miles and Seti Osman literally all the time. So whatever, Lamar Odom's going to be the first player with 3 different jump shots. Now, what jump shot are they going to give him? I would say it probably is going to be the same one Andre Karolinko has, which is O'Shea Brissett. Being that Zion, Danny Ferry, Nedelicki, Karolinko all have that release, I think it's time for Odom to kind of get it. If it's not that, then I think it might be either Kuzma or what does Danny Manning have? Danny Manning has Magic. Yeah, they're not going to do Magic. So it's probably going to be Kuzma or O'Shea. Lamar Odom's going to be good, though. I mean, he'll have the most cracked dribble moves in the game. They typically do that for Lamar Odom. I know he's only an opal, but, you know. I would say out of the opals, it's... Yeah, Lamar Odom's probably going to drop the absolute least out of all of them, but should still drop a relatively decent amount when you actually pull an opal. But then I forget that there's current series opals and there's also playoff opals. God, so diluted for no reason. I mean, there's a reason, trust. Like, they're trying to extract money from you, you know, as efficiently as possible. So there's going to be 2 different Bol Bols, which should be super fun, heaps of fun. Like, I'm loving that, personally. Like, then we got Tim Thomas, I forgot. Tim Thomas at the 2 guard should be ridiculous as well. And then we'll just finish up with Luka. So, pretty good chance that Luka doesn't have his own release. Just because this card was fire, he just, you know, his release wasn't very good. Luka on very quick is not very good. So, I would assume that they give him Kevin Porter Jr. release. I would say there's no way they don't, actually. KPJ seems like the most logical fit. I don't think there's another release they could give him that would do him justice. So I would assume that Luka's going to have KPJ, and he will be really, really good, and everyone will fawn over him and love him. That's my prediction when it comes to Luka. Also, he'll be like between 500K and $1 million. I'm not really sure how much. They didn't give him a hero card, which I think is weird. Like, they gave Tim Thomas a hero card, but then not Luka Doncic. I find that to be strange. Also, none of the opals have a hero card. Like, okay, so none of the opals have a hero card. Murasan has one, but that's just so they can sell you 2 different versions of Murasan. Weird. Okay. Kevin Porter Jr. should be good, though. I mean, he's obviously going to have KPJ base. That's obvious. If they make his defense, like, even just, like, passable, he'll probably be one of the best budget point guards that you can buy in the game. Just for the sheer reason he's 6'6", 6'9" wingspan. He's got a pretty big player model, a little stocky, he's a little muscular. Obviously, he's got one of the best releases in the game, so he should be fire. Mike Miller, 6'8", 6'11" wingspan. It's funny because I was just gassing up Shane Battier, but like Mike Miller's basically the same size, but it's the defensive tendencies, you know? They probably stay with the release. They might give him a different one, but I don't know, honestly. Romeo Langford release is actually decent. This was like a mid-game fire release. Like Rex Chapman, Thurl Bailey, I guess Andrew Nebhard, I suppose. Mike Miller should be okay. It'll just be an offensive first, like budget wing or 2 guard. I don't really think anything special. Let's talk heavy hitter time. Tim Thomas, 6'10", 7'2" wingspan at the 2 guard. Basically all Tim Thomas is going to be is he's going to be a way better version of like Garnett. Like the Garnett that we got literally last week, he'll be just like a better version of that. Like, they're going to juice his defense up. He's obviously going to have LaMelo release. I'm not kidding when I say he's just going to be like a slightly better Kevin Garnett. I think the thing that he's going to do better is move. He's going to move better than Garnett does. Yeah, I don't know. Do people like the De'Aaron Fox size up? Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't think they do. They definitely don't like Chris Paul escape. So literally, what he is going to do is be Garnett that maybe, and I mean maybe, is like slightly worse on defense, but you trade that off. These ads on 2KDB are going to be the death of me, dude. You're going to trade that off for somebody who can move incredibly well and still be that big. Yeah, Tim Thomas is going to be fire. What are the differences between his hero version and regular? Well, one, he's wearing a Knicks jersey. That's never good. I think the main difference is going to be defense. I feel like that kind of makes sense, right? I think he'll have like off clamps, and he'll probably have like rebound chaser and stuff, but I think we're going to be looking at like anchor, glove, challenger, maybe some playmaking and finishing badges. I think it's really going to come down to defense, though. I think for Tim. Wow, I didn't realize his defensive tendencies were like that. Jesus Christ, no wonder this card was so cracked out. And then we got Bol Bol, 7'2", 7'7" wingspan at the small forward potentially. That's not good. That's not good at all. I would assume. Is it defense or speed? I don't know what the differences are going to be. They're going to be there. Like, the differences are going to be there. This hero Bol Bol is going to be over 1 million, no question, because he's going to be the best small forward in the game. Like, the Bol Bol release, great. It's great. I like it. It's like Kristaps, but it's like slightly easier to manage, in my opinion, anyway. He's going to move. He's going to play defense. Like, he's going to do it all. This card is going to be so stupid. I don't even want to talk about it because it's just like, I'm not going to be able to afford this card, so it doesn't matter, right? And then, oh boy, we got the lock-ins for the hero collection. Honestly, I was really scared for a second when I first saw this, because I was like, oh my god, dude. I already have a hard enough time dealing with Taco Fall. But, you know what? I thought about it, and with the amount of MT it's going to cost to lock in, let's not even talk Chet, because Chet's going to be like 2 or 3 million, a bare minimum to lock in himself. Manute Bol is going to cost, like, I'm dead serious, like 7 million MT. Like, we'll look at the possible prices here in a second, but Jesus, Chet should be good though. 7 foot, 7'6" wingspan. The problem with Chet is it's like they came out with Chet, but then Bol Bol came out right afterwards, and like Bol Bol is probably just like a better small forward, so I don't really know why everyone, you know, like why did they do that? They should have just done Manute Bol Bol, but whatever. For their own purposes, obviously, I'm glad that it's this way instead, but Chet should be okay. I mean, I actually like his release. Some people hate it. I think it's fine. Yeah, I mean, he'll have improved dribble sigs. I mean, they basically just made him Bol Bol. Like, Chet just is Bol Bol. Like, they even gave him basically the same defensive tendencies. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, he'll be okay. But let's talk about the real showstopper. Manute Bol, 7'7", 8'5" wingspan. Jesus. Okay, I take that back. Manute Bol is bigger for sure than George Mirasan. I think Mirasan's a little wider. But that wing, oh my god, 8'5". Jesus Christ, dude. You know, it's like you always know how big Manute Bol is, but you're like, you don't know until you look at the raw data, you know? He's got default big release. I would just assume that's not going to be the case. I don't know what release they're going to give him. I mean, at this stage, I wouldn't even be shocked if they gave him KPJ. Would you? I wouldn't. I'm pretty sure if they give him Kevin Porter Jr. release, there's no actual way to contest his jump shot. Also, he can play power forward, by the way, in case you needed to know that. But I think it'd be even scarier to see Taco power forward, Manute Bol center, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they gave him Kevin Porter Jr. release. Honestly, I wouldn't. If they give him a manageable release, like one that's pretty normal, I would assume it's like the same one Yao has. But regardless, I mean, he's going to be basically an invincible card. He's going to be fast. He's going to shoot. He's going to move. It's going to be the most broken card that we may have ever seen. I know that sounds like I'm being, I don't know, man. I want to say like, just kind of like overblowing the situation. But I mean, we had an 80 speed Yao that quite literally up until this morning was still the best big man in the entire game. And he came out in January. Can you imagine what this Manute Bol is going to be like? Like, Jesus, dude. And this Yao couldn't even get limitless range. You know Manute Bol is going to have limitless range because he actually did kind of pull up from 3. So, the Robert Williams release, maybe, because they did give it to Sabonis too. But I don't know really what they're going to do here. I don't know. Let's go take a look at the market and chat it up. Hey, if you made it this far into the video, you should 100% subscribe or like or do all those other YouTuber things. I know it sounds annoying for people to do that, but I literally never do, so you should do it. Also, go Birds, dog. It's the NFL draft tonight. Or if you're watching this tomorrow, it was last night, so I don't know. Manute Bol is going to be Jesus Christ, dude. I mean, like Michael Jordan himself. He's like almost 2 million MT, right? And we're not even talking Jokic, who's like another million almost, right? He might actually be 1 million. Durant, who's basically 1 million. That's 3 mil right here, right? That's nuts. So we got Just Friday guys that we know of right now. 3 million. Kuzma's about 50. So the rest of these guys probably encompass maybe like 125K. Maybe. Like Hito's kind of expensive, I suppose. Mo Bamba's pretty cheap now because of the locker code. So, I mean, right off the bat, we got 3 million for the Dark Matters. I don't think it's likely to go down that much because, tomorrow we literally have Tim Thomas and Bol Bol as heroes. And Murasan, who I'm sure is going to be outrageously expensive, right? So you're probably adding another, I mean, I might be overblowing this, but another like 3 million MTs. We're looking at like 5 or 6 mil right now. And that doesn't count the cards that are getting released in the future too. Whereas Tuesday is looking a bit more manageable for Chet. I feel like it got more manageable when they announced Bol Bol, because I feel like people were kind of stoked about Chet, but then you can just get Bol Bol straight away, so it's like it doesn't really matter. So I would say Chet's probably somewhere around I would say he's probably close to like 1 million or 2 still, though. I mean, Paul George alone is like 400K, Penny's like 400K, 500K. He's down. He's about 300. Embiid, honestly, I couldn't tell you what his price is. 200 probably, I would guess. So, I mean, right there, that's about 800K. So I would assume probably like 1 million or something of that nature would be my guess. I think it's really going to depend on Bol Bol's price too. So it's interesting, but all right, a lot of news, right? Does anyone specifically take a massive price hit today due to any of the news? I mean, right off the bat, I would say yes. Yao Ming, I would say there's going to be a little bit more up because, as we get closer to Manute Bol, we're going to see more and more Yaos get put up. Now, that being said, I really don't think Yao is going to be worse. I think people probably still will choose to keep Yao and just run Manute Bol at power forward. The like 14 people that are going to be able to get Manute Bol legitimately without getting banned. So that's something. God damn, dude. That's some rough stuff right there. As far as the budget cards tomorrow, I've seen people say that this is a really good set for budget players. And what I'll say to that is, like, Bonga looks good. Murasan is probably going to be too expensive to be considered a budget player. I would say it's possible Lamar Odom is the same. Shane Battier may be good. Marc Gasol's going to be good. He's going to have a bunk jump shot. KPJ is probably going to be good. Mike Miller's going to be okay. So it's not really quite as good for budget players as people think. People seem to think that Murasan is going to be affordable, which he absolutely, for sure, will not be. Sorry, I don't mean to like crush your dreams. It's just like reality, There are a bunch of tacos up. That being said, we'll see what's up with Murasan. I just don't know. Bol Bol, I'm sure he is going to affect people's prices, but I'm not really sure who, because it's like the Dark Matters don't really affect the prices of other cards because they're so unattainable, because we still have sub 2% odds. So it's like seeing a Dark Matter Bol Bol come out doesn't really affect me or, your average 2K player, because it's just like, okay, cool, like another card I won't be able to afford and I won't pull from packs. So it's like it doesn't really matter, right? It only affects people who have the high tier cards, which are very few, Like there's not very many people who have the high tier options here. So I think Garnett's price may be affected a bit just because of Tim Thomas existing, because I think Tim Thomas is just like I said, a better version. I mean, the high tier cards, does Luka affect anyone's price? Yeah. Like Artest and like Jimmy Butler, maybe. It just depends what they do with him, but I don't know. Let me know what you think of this set down in the comments below. As always, been your friend Cheap Ludes, dude. Go Birds. I'm very interested to see what the Eagles are going to do in the draft. Come hang out with me. Well, I mean, by the time this comes out, dude, it's already going to be past, so come hang out with me on Twitch like most days anyway, though. I'm starting a new work schedule soon, so the Twitch streams are going to be streams are going to be a little bit less frequent, but I'll talk to you guys when the time comes.